Welcome back to College Hill Farm. Well, it's been 3 weeks since I've been able to get in the garden. Crystal's been in and out of the hospital. Her her post-surgery chemo hasn't gone too well. Her pre-surgery chemo went okay, but it hadn't gone too well the post-surgery. So she's been in and out of the hospital, so I've been unable to do the things on the homestead that I need to do, and that's all right. There's more important things, but she's on the mend a little bit, and I'm getting out here. My tractor has been overheating, and I think I've discovered the problem. I've had to keep adding fluid to it, but I couldn't find a leak anywhere. But what was happening was the radiator cap was popping off. Let me show you what I'm talking about. This radiator cap is designed such that when the pressure gets to be a certain amount, this comes back and allows that pressure to go off. Well, this cap is 10 years old. Alright, I bought the tractor in May of 2015, and I think it was a 2014, the tractor. It doesn't never say on the side of the tractor whether it's a 2014 or a 2015. It may even be a 2013. I don't know. But it's it didn't have any hours. I think it had 4 hours on it when I got it. You know, I'm sure they drove it around to make sure all the fluids were this, that, and the other, and they filled the tires with antifreeze for me, and those kinds of things. Because I've got heels, I asked them to have filled agricultural tires, and that's what they did. But they only filled the backs. They didn't fill the fronts. But anyway, that is fairly easy. I'm betting this is blowing off at about 8 psi. It's supposed to be between 12 and 13. But I'm betting that that's only blowing off at about 8 psi because it's so easy to move. So these get weak after an amount of time. So this is between 10 and 12 years old. So it's got weak. Now I went to the website for Bill's tractor, and this is $85. Okay, for this cap, $85. So I have one of the things that I did was I bought a manual for this tractor, a repair manual. You can get one from Bill's Tractor. But I bought a repair manual for this. I don't remember how much it was. It was like 30 bucks or something, 40 bucks. But it's been worth its weight in gold. What it told me was, see this little number right here? That's 0.09, 0.9. 0.9. There's no decimal point on here, so I didn't have any idea what this stood for. This is kilograms per square centimeter. Okay, the pressure, kilograms per square centimeter. So I converted kilograms to per square centimeter to pounds per square inch, PSI, because here in America, that's what we use for pressure on a radiator cap. Well, I searched, I went to Advance, I went to O'Reilly's, and nobody could help me. But I looked it up on the internet, a cap between 12 and 13 at AutoZone. And this is what I found. This is a Duralast 7513. Okay? Now, when I looked at my manual, it said 0.9, or in other words, 12.8 psi, plus or minus 0.15. Well, when I did all the math, 12 to 13.2. Okay, 12 to 13.2. Well, this is that Duralast. It's rated at 13 psi. But that's probably not the psi that it lets off at. That's probably the psi maximum when it's completely flattened out. So when I do this one, it pops off real easy. But this new one, I have to mash hard to make it pop off. So it's a little different. Okay, this is not as robust as this one. I'm hoping that it'll fit. So let's go over here and see if this new one will fit. Oh, and by the way, $11.99. Big difference. Felt like it fit, but it felt like it might not be long enough. But look at this, it's every bit as long as this one. And the diameter appears to be the same, so I'm going to say that's it. Okay, I'm going to say that this one's corroded and just harder to screw on and screw off. The only way to know is to do the jack acid test. But before I do that, I want to drain, and I can see the liquid where it pushed up against it. So this is seating. So what I want to do first is I want to change the fluid in that radiator. Nothing right there. I don't see a drain cock. Oh, let's get under here and see if we can see a drain cock. I've never drained this radiator before. I know, 10 years with this radiator fluid, you know it needs to be drained. Okay, let's see if I can find a drain cock. Well, there's nothing from the front that I can see. Okay, there's a big thing across there and nothing right here. This is where the battery sits. So maybe there's something behind that. Looks like the radiator is behind that by a little. But this big cross member right here is right over the radiator, so I don't know. Looking at it from up under the bottom, from back here, there's no drain cock here either that I can see. Okay, that might be something, but I can't get to it from here. I don't know. Well, that's aggravating because it tells me to use the drain cock to drain it. Now I can't find one. Yeah. Welcome to Mahindra manuals. They're really not much punkin except for showing you exploded diagrams. The talking part of them, yeah, they need to work on their English a little bit. Okay. Okay, I cannot get to the bottom of that radiator from the backside from the engine compartment because it's buried behind the shroud and two or three things. So I'm going to take the battery out and see if I can get to the bottom of it behind the battery. That's the only other option I see. I've looked at the exploded diagram, and the exploded diagram doesn't show a stopcock either. So I may wind up having to take the bottom radiator hose off. That wouldn't be the first time I've had to do that with a tractor. So yeah, okay, I'm going to get at this. Well, there is no stopcock on the bottom of that radiator. Oh, time for a break. Okay, there's no stopcock on the bottom of that radiator, even though the manual says to drain it with the stopcock. So, yeah. So, there are a lot of radiators that are made that way. They're solid core. They don't have a drain. And so, what do you do in that instance? Well, you drain them by removing the bottom radiator hose. Okay, and that lets the fluid all come out at once. It's going to make a mess. I'm going to lose part of it, so I need to go get a bigger bucket, bigger round container, so I catch most of it. So there are some concerns when you're taking off that bottom hose. First off, that hose is 10 years old. It's heated and cooled and heated and cooled and heated and cooled and heated and cooled for 900 hours. I think 935 hours. So it's going to have its own issues. Okay? It's going to have its own issues. Where it's at, it's real tight in there and not a lot of room. I may even have to take the oil filter off to get it off. It means I'll have to drain the damn oil again. Anyhow, yeah, that's the price. Now, if you think any other tractor is easier, it's a pipe dream. They're all this way. Yeah, they're all this way. Don't think that this tractor's better or that tractor's better. Some tractors are better for working on. Our old International Harvester from 1955 or 65, maybe it was, is IH140. Everything was right there looking at you. okay? But that was a whole different animal. This tractor has a computer in it. It's got a whole bunch of other technology that the International Harvester didn't have. I think our IH-140 was only, what, 23 or 24 horsepower? Maybe it was 30. I don't remember. But it's not a whole lot of horsepower. So this tractor's got almost as much horsepower as that IH-140, but in a more compact design. The IH-140 was very elongated and wider, so everything in the motor compartment was right up in your face. It was easy to get to. This thing is compact like a new car. So, yeah, getting to that hose may be a pain. It's right where the exhaust comes out. So, and if they put adhesive on that at the bottom of that radiator, that hose is going to be very, very hard to remove. Okay, very hard to remove. I may have to make a tool so that I can remove it. You know, take a screwdriver and bend it so that it curves and goes under that thing. But you know, I just feel old today. Old and tired. Enough whining. Time to get at it. Okay, the upper radiator hose is right here in your face. Okay? But the lower hose is pretty well buried down here. Right here, right there, there is the oil filter, and right here is the hose. Now, they've got the hose clamp out here where you can get to it, so I'm hoping that hose feels pretty okay. So I'm hoping I can get that hose clamp off and get it drained. Now, what I brought out was this, because that fluid's just going to run everywhere. So let's see if we can get that off and get that radiator drained. I can't see it. I'm having to feel for it. I think I'm going to have to lay down here in order to do that. Oh. Oh. Yep, it's 8mm. It's loose. Now let's see if I can work that hose off there. Oh yeah. Very corroded looking. Now let me push this back on. Ow. Ow. And now what I want to do Oh. Ow. Ow. My kneecap. I don't use fancy flushes that are expensive. Okay? What I use is good old-fashioned distilled water. Well, I can't see. What am I seeing? Oh. So now, I'm just going to pour a gallon of distilled water in that radiator. There we go. Totally full. See, it takes a little less than a gallon. Now, I'll let that flush out by removing this radiator hose again. Okay? That'll help flush out a lot of that debris that's in there. Oh, get down here with it so I can see what I'm doing. Get the hose back on. Oh, there we go. Let the hose clamp up there so it's gonna be in the right spot when I'm done. Come on. Roll back around there, baby. It wasn't really tight. They test this at 25 psi. I was surprised at how loose it was. I'm not going to over tighten it. That's probably as tight as it was. Feels solid. Alright. Now let's get some antifreeze in it. That's what I'm using. Oh. It doesn't specify anything really. Can't hardly see around this. There we go. Full. Now it's time to get the battery back in, which I didn't have to take it out, but that's the way life is. I know now that there's not a stopcock. So, yeah. All right. There we go. Now let's get that tightened down. Okay, we're going to start it and see how it does. Oh. Okay, that appears to be as much as it's going to take. It's warm but not hot. So the only way to do now is go down in the garden, go down in the field and mow a little. Let's make it warm. Oh. It's not back enough. There we go. I don't know how well you can see, But look at the rust in that. Don't pay no attention to the stuff floating on top. That was in the pan. But look at the rust in that. So yeah, it definitely needed to be changed. Okay, it did good. It's not spewing out. It put out a few drops, but you got to expect that. There's no overflow can, okay? There's no overflow can, and when you fill that with antifreeze, you fill it all the way to the top. Well, when the fluid expands, anything over 13 psi, it's going to push out the top, okay? So then that will make it equalize, so when it's hot, it's full. So I'll give it a couple of days. I'll check it every time I start mowing or I start using the tractor. We got our potatoes mowed off, so when I first started, I cut some of the potatoes up. I saw them laying on the ground. So in the next day or two, I'll get down there, I'll let that stuff kind of die back a little bit, and I'll get down there and dig my potatoes. It's August the 2nd, and I'm a little behind. You know, you know why. I told you at the beginning of the video. So I hope that radiator cap holds good. We'll just have to wait and see. 7513 Duralast was the one I put in there. Now, it may not be sufficient, okay? And I might have to break down and buy that $80 radiator cap. It also might be that my water pump's going out too. You never know about those kind of things until you're faced with them, okay? So I think what I'm going to do, I think I'm going to pull this over by my water hose and let it cool over there, and then I'll wash that radiator out really, really, really good. I prefer to use water instead of forced air. Forced air sometimes can be too rough, and water, you can put the hose right up at it with just an open hose, not spray, just an open hose. You can put it right up at it and let that water push through there, and it generally does pretty good. So now I'm just confronted with the things that homesteaders have to do. Before you start a project, there's always gathering up your materials. And when you finish a project, there's always cleaning up. So that's what I've got to do. I don't want to leave this antifreeze out where anything can get in it. I'll use the water bottles and the old antifreeze jug to capture that used antifreeze. Okay, so that's what I'm doing. I use 50-50 mix, that way I know it's always mixed correctly. It's good down to 34 degrees, minus 34 degrees, so we don't never get that hot here, cold here, but we got down to minus 30 once. So yeah, I don't use my tractor when it's minus 30 outside anyway. So alright, now if you like this stuff, this homesteading, do-it-yourself kind of thing, be certain to come on out to the channel and subscribe. We do this homestead stuff every week, sometimes 1, sometimes 5 videos, just depends on what's going on in the homestead that week. Now if you hit the little bell, it'll be right up here when you come to the channel. It'll notify you when we upload a video. We upload on Sundays, Tuesdays, and Thursdays, with the occasional short on Friday and Saturday and through the week. Now, it's time for me to get on to the next thing. I love you all.